This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is 2/28/22. And Nick, we are facing the Russia Doomsday scenario.
Yeah, we are. I mean, this Russia-Ukraine war just continues to take center stage, and it gets, I got to say, it's like a chess match now. I'm really, I don't want to say I ever enjoy war, but I'm really intrigued by this now. What's going on here? I've never seen, a country get canceled. I've heard of people get canceled. A lot of Republicans I know got canceled on social media, but now we're seeing a country starting to get canceled. Companies are pulling out, saying they're not going to do business there. BP, you got Maersk, the shipping company. So it's really quite interesting to see how this is going. And, supposedly there was going to be a talk, some meetings taking place, possible talks between the two countries in Belarus, but looks like no peace deal has come out of that yet. So it's going to be quite interesting.
Well, it's very possible that Russia could win the battle and lose the war here. I saw that BP, you mentioned them pulling out, they're taking a $25 billion write-off on their Russian properties.
Yeah, and that just doesn't seem like a smart move, in my opinion. So, excuse me, as we see these companies do this, I just think there's probably a little bit more to it than meets the eye. So it's going to be a chess match here. We'll see if Putin has planned for all of this. Sanctions are kicking in as well, and it's going to be quite something. Earlier today, we had the Ukraine foreign minister say that the Ukraine is not ready to surrender or capitulate. I just find it rather amazing that here we are, going into, I guess, the 5th or 6th day of this, and we'll see how it plays out. But oil prices are up today, and again, I don't think oil goes down by any dramatic amount until this is resolved.
Well, I think Putin planned for an instant victory, a 2-day victory. The Russian flag would be flying over Kiev, and everything would be great, and he'd be in the catbird seat. But I think what he didn't plan on was the level of resistance they got and the apparent incompetence of the Russian armed forces in executing this maneuver. And now he's left with an insurgency. The West has mobilized, whether rightly or wrongly, whether this is a good idea of kicking him out of SWIFT and all of these companies leaving. We'll only know in the long run. My feeling is Russia's a really hard place to do business for Western companies. They've wanted out for a while. This is their excuse to hit the exit door.
It's very, very possible. I will say this much, though. The stock market today is holding up very well. So you have the NASDAQ composite positive. You have the Dow just down 275 points. Big recovery from last night's overnight futures market, which was tumbling pretty sharply. So when I see something like this, and that's what I gauge charts, and I gauge the market from the charts. The markets have had a big run. They're due for a little bit of pausing here, but there's nothing terrible out here in the stock market at the moment. After you had a 270-point rally in the S&P last Thursday and Friday. Yeah,
well, interesting to see. Definitely. Gold is up. It's still over that $1,900 mark, but your gut feel is that once this situation resolves itself, and it will have to, because we're starting to see bank runs. One of my FSN community members, Brian, his wife is Polish. Her relatives are saying there are bank runs going on in Poland.
Yeah, I've read that over the weekend, and as you know, Russia is having bank runs themselves, so it's quite something. The geopolitical turmoil is causing all these problems going on in even other countries, like bordering countries like Poland that border Ukraine. But again, the way I look at it is when you look at gold, it's had a big run. It's the fear trade. It's the ultimate fear trade. And even this morning, gold was up much higher, and it has already pulled back. Right now, as we speak, it's only up about 22 points. So it already has pulled off of the intraday highs. And again, I think gold, should you get any kind of resolution, or even if Russia backs off, I think gold does pull back a lot more.
All right, so Bitcoin is having a little bit of a rally today?
Yeah, you got a little bit of an uptick in Bitcoin. The last I checked it, it's back above 40,000. Earlier today it was actually below, so now you're at 40,800 on Bitcoin. So it recaptured the 40,000 level. But when I was looking at Bitcoin over the weekend, and I got to say, the chart right now, it really is not a very strong chart. And I think everybody has to now concentrate and look at the pattern that is forming. But today, Bitcoin is holding up pretty well, and it lives to fight another day. When I did daily chart resistance, I think 45.5 to 46,000 is really big resistance now. It was 48 earlier, but with the recent decline, it would only be about 45 to maybe 46,000.
Hey, well, what I think is interesting is Bitcoin was supposed to be the new gold, and gold has responded the way you would expect. It's up, $100 or so. It was up even higher, but Bitcoin is down.
Well, like we've talked about on this show, I believe gold is gold. It's proven itself. It's standard. It's already performed through the test of time. What has Bitcoin done? Every time I turn around, Bitcoin gets hacked. Bitcoin, you could just look at how accounts were frozen in Canada with the truckers. So there's a history there of Bitcoin really not being any safe haven. And the other thing is you need dollars to buy Bitcoin. So what really is it? Is it really a true safe haven? And I think gold has already proven itself and told you that Bitcoin is not.
Yeah, well, this is just what the global economic system, financial system did not need. As a major shockwave. This could well be a Lehman moment when we look back. But for now, the markets are headed higher. So you got to wonder what the deal is. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that. Make sure you go over to Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com. See how he's been beating the averages for decades. The Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. Your emails are welcome. KL@kerrylutz.com. Nick, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Sounds good, Kerry.